America, land of the free. It's at the core of who we are. Freedom. The freedom to live without fear, to drive through all 50 states, to sleep safely in our own beds, the freedom to jog where we please, to watch birds in the park, to wear a hoodie, the freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because no matter your religion, gender, disability, age, race, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell risk if they're taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, or harm if accidentally taken by a child or a pet. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop-off boxes. If there isn't one available, check the FDA's flush list. If your medicine isn't on the flush list, you can dispose of it in the trash. Get information to keep your family safe.
If doctors, nurses, and grocery store clerks can wear a mask for 10 or 12-hour shifts, you can wear a mask for an hour or less when you go to the store. Do your part. Mask up, America.
As a young girl, I just grew to love using power tools, pouring concrete, and doing things that were scary and loud, and yet I looked around and realized no other girls are doing these things. As I grew up, I realized that girls need to see themselves in this space. Start here. So that's what I set out to do, and I became an educator and a mentor for young girls. No masks down till clear. Making teaches girls how to think of their ideas as important. Go light. It changes the way they think about what they're capable of. If I can fuse metal, what can't I do? Perfect. Look at how good that was. And so I think making for girls is about voice, and that's what's really exciting, because we're building the world we want to see for ourselves. Now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
I don't think we're free in this country. For 100 years, you saw Black people menaced and targeted and lynched and beaten and brutalized. I think we're burdened by this history. You are obligated to do something to address that, or you become part of the problem. More people have to be willing to do that uncomfortable, inconvenient thing that justice requires for things to get better. We don't have to fear fairness. We don't have to fear equality. We don't have to fear doing the right thing. Truth can inspire change. Learn more at EJI.org.
Time to get ready for another day. No one can stop us, so we gon' learn to play. Oh, every day we learn and play. We do our best, so we'll be great. You do your best, and I do mine. So let's get ready, 'cause it's about that time.
What's happening?
Good
Good
morning. Good
morning,
morning.
y'all.
Good morning.
What's up? What's
This
up?
is
This is your rolling out AM morning wake up call. First King James. What's happening, man?
what's going on, brother? What's happening, cousin?
I can't call it. I can't call it. This
That's what's up.
great
There's a lot
Thursday
going
morning.
on. I know that's right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I am the first King James. This is Custom. Thank you for tuning in to the Rolling Out AM Wake Up Call for another powerful morning. With Rolling Out, we got a lot going on in the country. We still got
Yeah.
your favorite police officer who's defending his knee. We have we have the state of Georgia passing new voting laws, so they make it a felony. A felony. Listen to this: a felony to even give out food and water while people are waiting in line to vote. Now, if that's not some type of a form of oppression or a return to the Jim Crow, I don't know what is, but that's going on.
No, for sure.
We had so a lot going on in the country. So yeah, what's going on with you, brother, individually?
Individually, I'm doing well, man. Glad to be up this morning. I've been in the gym these past couple of days. So the gym is actually not too bad. You know what I mean? I guess only because I'm going around like maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I might be giving y'all my secret. But if y'all trying to go to the gym and you kind of feeling reluctant, that's probably around the best time to kind of go. Right before that whole influx of people who getting off from work and just trying to head there at like 6 o'clock in the afternoon, and it's jam packed. So, but other than that, man, I'm feeling good. This pollen has been getting to me. It's crazy, man. This you here in Atlanta, so you see how it is. Everything is yellow. It's like a yellow brick road right now. You know what I mean? Like cars, the road. Thankfully, it rained yesterday. How's it been for you?
Oh, it's been all good. Yeah, I mean, everybody has something that they have challenges with. That is not one of mine. I mean, I could have 5 feet. I could walk in 5 feet of pollen and it won't affect me. But
Really?
other things, yeah, it doesn't bother me at all. It never has, and I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just everyone's. At birth, you have these certain things that you're immune to, or that you doesn't bother you. But then there's other things that get to you that doesn't get to other people, and I've never understood it, but that's what we like. So pollen just has never bothered me.
Wow. See, as a child, it did not bother me as much, but now as an adult, oh my gosh, I was sneezing, and then the crazy thing is, it's not just now we're dealing with pollen. I'm dealing with corona too. So it's like when I'm sneezing, you know what I mean? I'm having to explain to people like, hey, listen, it's not corona, it's pollen. I promise you I'm not sick. You know what I mean? This is just the allergies of what's going on, and having to just, you know what I mean, um, be
Yeah,
able to
I'm
appease
susceptible to
everybody to make
allergies.
sure that they know. Huh?
Yeah, I'm susceptible to allergies now more than I was
Yeah.
when I was a Buckeye. When I was living in the Buckeye State,
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right, because Georgia's just a different kind of state, but at the same time, I still, I just look at it and I just wipe it away. I just wipe it off my windshield, wipe it off my balcony.
You
It's
lucky,
almost like
man.
it's almost like bird droppings. You just wipe it off and keep pushing.
Oh
But yeah,
man.
yeah,
I
in
wish.
that respect, yeah, in that respect. But like I said, there's other things that I'm a little bit more susceptible to that other people are not, and so it's just like, dang, why me for that? Well, life ain't fair. Things
Right.
happen, and everybody has
Right,
different
right, right.
everybody has different challenges. So
No, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, my good female friend, she has the most terrible time with allergies at this time of the year. It's just she's very cranky, she's very stuffed
Mm.
up, and so yeah, she can get a little ornery. So these are the tender times
Got
for
you.
me. Hey, boo, you
Nah.
okay?
Yeah,
Hey,
man.
boo.
So it seems as though today we got a man show. Who we got? Do we have some special guests today for everybody?
Yeah, we got. I know we have a special cover on that just come out today with
That is true.
Marcus Houston and his wife. Um, yeah, and you can see that. You will be able to see that online. But there's always been a lot of I don't know. There's been a lot of controversy about Maya, I believe that's how you say her name, Marcus and Maya, because of the 20-year difference, 39 and 19.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're 40 and 20 now, but you get the point. And they're defending their union because of the fact that, they say that it is steeped in God, and there's nothing scandalous about it going on. They just fell in love and they were meant to be, and they feel like their marriage is divinely inspired and protected and endorsed. So, there it is right there with Maya, the wife. And so they feel like they don't need to defend themselves. I don't know, when you first heard it, what were your thoughts, or did you, what were you hearing, I should say?
So for me, I guess personally, I was just, I didn't think anything of it because, you know what I mean? It's a lot of times that we see a lot of older men that end up going and dating younger women. And that's about the same thing. Like, she's a very attractive young lady. You can't really control who you like, you know what I mean? Like, and you can't control who you love, but matter of fact. So if they have like a real genuine union and everything is all the way, solid, and they have love for each other, I can't get mad at it. You know what I mean? There is a crazy age difference, but hey, as long as the woman is legal and, you know what I mean, she's in all the way connected and I don't know. I can't find fault. So he's 40 and she's 20.
Yeah, or 39 and 19. This was last year when I first found out about the two. So
Oh, wow.
it's unusual. This is an anomaly, and I've never seen this before. So the fact that based upon its rarity, I did raise an eyebrow. I'm not going to lie and say I didn't think. I did kind of like, oh, well, that's interesting. But
Yeah,
if she's of legal age, if she's a legal age, who am I to judge? And we see it all the time. Once people get older, Madonna is in her 60s and she's dating someone in her, I think, in the 20s. So that cougar thing gets real as you get a little older. So this is just a few years younger than that. But I'm not going to lie, I did raise an eyebrow when I first saw it. But now, as long as her family and as long as she's good with it, and her family's good with it, his family's good with it, he's good with it. I can't really knock it. But they went, so they went ahead and tried to, went ahead and explain themselves to Jonelle Witt. Jonelle Witt is a contributing writer, and she interviewed them. The video is online, as well as the cover, the actual what they had to say. So I think it'll be interesting to find out a little bit more because a lot of people were taken aback. A lot of people were shocked.
Mm-hmm.
People do disapprove, and a lot of people do not think that this is within the confines of a divinely inspired or protected or endorsed marriage. So, yeah. So I was taken aback. I got to admit.
I mean, when you think about it from that standpoint, when you really think like, damn, this man is 39 and he's with a 19-year-old, she could be slick young enough to be his daughter. You know what I mean? So I totally get, you know what I mean, where people could be kind of like, this is very controversial. And seeing where everybody else is kind of like saying, you know what I mean, this isn't right. Because a lot of times he can't even share a drink with old girl. So it's kind of like, my whole theory is if she's past 21 and you guys can go to the club together, then that's kind of a different story. But because her brain isn't all the way developed to the same degree, you know what I mean, of maturation. So I feel like in certain occasions, there's going to be some kind of big variation and disparaging gap between the man's maturation, you know what I mean, his maturity, and that young lady. And they may not see eye to eye on everything. So that's going to be interesting to see moving forward, you know what I mean, how they handle that and cohabitate when it comes to the big age gap. So shout outs to them. I hope that, their union goes well and everything like that. We could check in with Facebook. Hold on, let me see here.
No, I did
Keisha,
when I was. No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was saying, Keisha Green, how you doing? Great morning. Appreciate that. Iris Baker. We have the fellas today. Yup. What's up, Iris?
Well,
we in here holding it down.
We hold it down for the time being. Temporarily, we're going to have co-host Portia Monique coming on in about 15, 20 minutes. She should. So those Portia fans, don't worry. She's coming back in a few minutes. Or I should say, she's coming on in a few minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Should be here. Oh yeah, and then we have where was that from Rhode Island? Shantae Garlington. Good morning from Providence, Rhode Island. Appreciate that, Shantae. Good morning to you. Shout outs. Who else we got in here today? So we say Connie Samuel, she's weighing in. She says her parents had a 20-year age gap, though they were older. Okay. So how did that work out for you, Connie, or for your parents? Hopefully that went well. That's still like Terry was saying, that's an anomaly. Yeah, man. Robert says, I don't want nobody young as any of my children. I get that, because that's kind of weird, especially if you got a 20-year-old. Like, imagine if this young lady was the friend to your daughter. Like, that would be kind of interesting to see. It's like, damn, dad, you dating, you know what I mean? You choosing on my friends. Like,
well, it brings up, it creates some kind of dynamics. It creates interesting dynamics because of the fact that, like, for example, Teddy Riley never got. The fact is that in his 40s he began to date a woman the age of his daughter, and you know that she's a volatile woman. You know her. Matter of fact, what is her name?
Nia Riley.
Nia Riley. And,
yep.
and to Teddy Riley dating a woman her age when she was in her young 20s, and they physically fought inside his house. So yeah, it can create some problems because it seems on the surface appropriate. It seems unseemly.
Right.
It seems greasy.
It does.
Like it's taking advantage, or not maybe an old man, but a middle-aged man, because he's close to middle age. It seemed like a middle-aged man taking advantage of a young child. So it just seems on the surface, it just seems, I don't know. People look at I'm sorry, my voice. People are looking askance at it. So, but yeah. But what did that woman say about her parents? How did that turn out when they had a 28-year age difference?
Okay, hold on. Connie, come on. I think it was Connie, or was it? Yeah, it was Connie. Connie, message us back and let us know how was, your parents' union. How did that go when it came to the 20-year age gap? Curious to see, you know what I mean? If any of you guys that's on Facebook tuning in right now, you got any, personal stories or experiences, you know what I mean, with the age gap, because this is a real thing, you know what I mean? Like, I watch certain podcasts on YouTube and I just see certain things where, people are giving relationship advice and talking about the age gaps. And typically sometimes when it comes to women, you know what I mean, you see the age gap going up to the man because of, quote unquote, the maturation process for women being a little bit more quicker. You know what I mean? As we know, statistically shows women mature faster than your average man. I was watching a podcast yesterday, and the gentleman was sharing that, most men mature around, of course, I was thinking around the age of 25 when your frontal lobe fully closes, but he was saying that around the age of 30, because that's when most men, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna just say most men get their things together and they start to, like, really kind of saying, like, I'm about to do this. This is my career. I'm making money here. I want to be able to make my money and then settle down by the age of 32, 33, 45, 35, whatever, and get married and have kids and, do all of that. Whereas your typical woman might be doing that around 26, 27, late 20s, early 30s. So that's why it might be of a 5-year age gap. But 5 years is a whole lot better than, 20. We got a little bit better of a closer generation in the age gap than that. But, what you think?
Yeah, well, I just think that it's kind of a interesting thing. This thing is fascinating because of the fact that just 2 years earlier, he could be under investigation and he could get
Right.
criminally prosecuted, because that's what's happening right now. Republican Senator Matt Gaetz, and you probably heard about his name, the audience out there. He is under investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice for allegedly having sexual relations with a 17-year-old woman. Now, this woman is only 2 years younger than Marcus Houston's wife, and one is legal, and he is under federal investigation, and so he's being investigated for something that's called the Mann Act, and that is basically transportation of underage children across state lines for the purposes of sex or sexual relations. So, and the thing about it is that he's saying, Mr. Gaetz is saying that he is being blackmailed, and that he adamantly denies it, but they weren't even investigating him. The FBI were investigating an associate who was doing the same thing. He's actually being investigated for sex trafficking many women, and his name happened to come up across it. And that they allege that they have records of Representative Gaetz paying for transportation for the 17-year-old across state lines in proximity to this that they are investigating. So, a conservative white man, Republican man, of course, TJ, but so that'll be interesting. It's just these two dynamics when you juxtapose, Representative Gaetz along with Marcus Houston, and say one is legal and one might send a guy to prison for decades, and she's only 2 years younger. It's just a really interesting dynamic.
That is very interesting.
And what about your maturity arc in terms from 17 to 19? You know what I mean? That's what makes it interesting. That's what it brought to this investigation is currently going on, and it looks like it's not a good look. It's not it's not a good look for Deshaun Watson, the NFL quarterback who's being sued by 21 women, 21 female masseuses.
Wow.
But he has, So he has 18 women who have now come out to support him. So they actually signed a written document supporting and saying that he's never, basically saying he's never been unprofessional. He's never been sexually inappropriate. So these are just interesting things when you just look at it side by side.
For sure. And if you guys at home get a chance, check out Rolling Out, because this is the article is live now. But according to the article that we have, there was an interview that we was able to post from Maya and our correspondent.
Marcus.
But and basically the way that Maya and Marcus met, Maya, I guess, was friends with Chrissy Stokes. Now, Chrissy Stokes is the daughter of the legendary manager of both B2K and Immature, Chris Stokes. You know what I mean? So through being friends with the daughter of Chris Stokes, who she kind of showed, who I'm saying she is Maya, she reveres Chris Stokes as a spiritual father. That's what she says, like a father to her, father figure. And then ends up meeting Marcus by way of Chrissy and Chris Stokes, who they end up having, hitting it off because apparently they share a mutual religion of Jehovah's Witness. I just find it interesting that the fact that circle and that way of somebody's daughter is how you meet your husband, and this man is old enough to be damn near your father. So, but that's interesting, man.
It is just interesting because if you saw this, now let's be honest, okay? So you're around 40 or whatever, and you have a friend, and he wants to introduce you to his 19-year-old, 18-year-old fiance. That's I'm going to have a few questions for the brother because it is outside of the norm. It is outside of the norm. So, you know what I'm saying? I just don't know. I don't know how Facebook feels about it. I guess we could check in.
Let's see. So Connie, she since checked in. Thank you, Connie. She said this was in reference to her parents having the 20-year age gap. She says that she had a great childhood. Her dad worshiped her mom, but they were older parents, and she grew up in a different era. Yes, the dynamics are crazy when you're younger than your nieces and nephews. That is interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, but I'm glad to know that, you know what I mean, everything worked out well for you guys, and I definitely understand that that was a different era. Um, Probably was a lot less influence from other exterior, issues or
Well,
people kind of chiming in, and you know what I mean. It's like this is family
well,
business, but now it's like
yeah.
social media. But go ahead.
No, I just think that I mean, you just said it. That last point you just made. I mean, it was before the information superhighway, so there was no, there was no interference. Why, mass interference, um, and there was nobody recording them. There was nobody taking pictures and posting it, so they were able to, have their marriage in peace. And depending on how they looked, they might have looked like they were close in age to each other. You know what I'm saying? So there's several different factors
Right.
that play into that. It's just everything is just a little bit more complicated and difficult in this new age because anything that you do that is unusual, you will be subjected to scrutiny, mass scrutiny. So it's a little bit more
Yeah.
difficult and sometimes unjust ridicule. You know what I'm saying? I think and we're in the cancel culture age. I don't understand exactly what gets you canceled or why it is so fervent. But yeah, it's just a little bit more difficult nowadays. And that's why I believe they decided to go ahead and take a few minutes to talk about it with our writer, Jonelle Whitt, who wrote the article and also did the video interview, which you should be able to see online today. So go ahead and check it out on rollingout.com. There's also, yeah, okay. I was going to give some more information about Mr. Matt Gaetz, but no, right now I think I've given everything. He's just under investigation, and it looks like it's just a bad look because he's associated with a so-called pedophile, and she's just 17. So that age gap to where it's legal and where it's not, it's just fascinating to me because the representative, he's in his 40s as well. So, you know what I'm saying? He's close to middle age, and he's got a 17-year-old woman, young lady, or I should say girl, because legally she's a girl until she's 18. And that's just as weird, too. She could perhaps be just weeks or months away from her 18th birthday. But because she's not, it might be, if it turns out to be true that he has been having relations with this young woman, Representative Gaetz could spend decades in prison. But like I said, we're in the beginning stages, the infancy of the investigation, so we'll have to see how that plays out.
Right.
TJ, do we have any birthdays today? I don't know. Today is April 1st, so watch out, everybody,
Right.
for those
Right.
pranks. Yeah.
I was just
Watch out
thinking
for
that
those
when I
pranks.
was looking at, right. I was looking at the
At the date.
flyers for, yep, the dates of today, and I'm like, damn, today is Thursday, April 1st. So be on the lookout because I know some folks are going to be out here with the tricks trying to get you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know that
But
Christian
this
Combs.
is,
Oh, I was going to give the birthdays for Christian Combs, the son of Sean Diddy Combs. He's 23. Kid Ink is 35. Sean Taylor, he's 38. And David, the man who played in Selma. How do you spell pronounce his last name? I don't know how to pronounce it, but he's the one that played Selma, and he's the one that played Martin Luther King in
Martin
Selma,
Luther King.
and he also played Fred Hampton in the Judas and the Black Messiah. So he's done some fantastic roles playing some black, but I don't know how to pronounce his last name. But David Ayuwayo, do you see it on the screen? David
No,
Go ahead.
I think that's two different people because David is the one that played Martin Luther King, but then there's Daniel Kaluuya that played Fred Hampton. So
Yeah, that's what I
David
said.
is the one. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, we are at 8:30 on the dot. 32.
Right, you gonna believe me or your own ears?
Hey, listen. What Jay-Z said, believe half of what you see.
Right.
And shoot, what did he say? I can't recall. Come back to me. But checking in the Facebook real quick. Good morning, D Shields. She says a girl is a child for sure to a grown man 40 or over until age of 25. That's how I feel. She ain't really my age and she ain't grown till she's 25. Like this is still a little girl. You know what I mean? I don't care how you put it, you know what I mean? No amount of a maturity, but yeah, man. So at the top of the hour, we got two guests, huh?
No, I was just saying that it's just a little weird to me because of the fact that, it is because she's so young. But we see a lot of situations where wealthy young men or women who are in their 40s, 50s, and 60s start dating people who are in their 20s. But at least they're in their 20s, so people feel, while it's not usual, we're no longer shocked by it when we see someone in their 50s dating someone in their 20s or 30s. But when it's that young, when you're still a teen, she's still considered an adolescent. So you're almost 40, right, and you're dating and and are married to an adolescent. So it's just hard. It's just it's hard to perform the mental acrobatics to wrap your brain around this concept of this union when you're 20 years apart and you're still a pubescent. So it's unusual. I did raise my eyebrows. I don't have any objections to it. I mean, it's not my place to judge, but it's just weird to me. Just a little bit interesting to me. That's what I should say. Interesting. But go ahead.
Right. Nah. So
you were talking about at the top of the hour we were having some guests.
Yep. At the top of the hour, we got some guests coming on today. We got D.C. Marshall. She's the CEO of Diverse and Engaged. She's going to be checking in with us around 9:15 this morning. And then we also have Miss Kelly White Gibson, Esquire, an attorney. Yes, ma'am. Love to see it. She's going to be checking in with us around 9:30. You know what I mean? We're going to be able to get in with her and talk and see what's all going on. So until then, let's discuss what's going on basically also in the news, man. Have you guys been tuning in with this, like you said when we first got on, the trial of the knee? Because that's or whatever they thinking that, you know what I mean, rest in peace, George Floyd was on. They keep making it about all of this other extra crazy stuff that was going on around, but not about the issue at hand.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, that's basically part of the blueprint, the playbook, is to assassinate the character of the black man or woman in order to justify police brutality or murder. And actually, I would like to declare to CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News, I don't need to see him choking under his knee anymore. You don't need to show me that video anymore. I mean, we've seen it enough. So unless it's part of the trial, you guys don't need to do on your reporting. We don't need to see him choking anymore. That is just such a graphic, horrific picture of a man who is actually alive and then being murdered in front of us. It's almost like he was being strung up in the middle of town square. So I don't need to see it anymore. I don't know about you. I don't need to see it.
And his deal. Go ahead. My bad.
No, go ahead. I paused.
I was just going to say, the other portion of it that was disturbing was the video that was released yesterday, I believe. I caught it on Instagram, but it was, I guess, of a body cam. Because, if you recall, all we have seen is just that one side of the video. We've seen that one side of the car. We never knew what was going on that right passenger side of that vehicle behind them where he was laid on the ground. So the video that I saw was where the officer Chauvin was squeezing his hands while they were in the handcuffs in like this kind of crazy, cop back. You know how when somebody puts somebody in a submission hold and they pull their arms and their hands up? That was so disturbing because you could see the behind the scenes portion that was causing all of George Floyd's and it was because he was pulling his hand while he was having his knee on his neck. And that right there was just so inhumane and so disturbing to the point where it infuriates me every time that I see it. And it just really makes me want to come through the screen when I see that Caucasian, defense attorney trying to justify this man's heinous actions. You know what I mean? When we saw it all as a nation, what this man has done and the lack of empathy that he really did have for George Floyd.
Yeah, he's
Terry?
going to do whatever he has to do.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
I'm sorry.
I think you'll break it up. No,
Did
no,
I get
I'm
lost?
listening. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I apologize to the fans out there. Um, yeah, I just think that the defense attorney is paid to do whatever it takes to try to get him off. And I just don't believe that, excuse me, I don't believe that, I just thought that it was callous. I think that everything that he was doing with that new body cam, it was deliberate. And just like the gentleman, Daniel Pantaleo, the man who choked out Eric Garner in the Staten Island borough of New York, he also knew exactly what he was doing, and he refused to let up. Despite saying, I can't breathe. He refused to let up, and now he wants his job back. He was, even indicted. Be sure what's going on.
Kind of going in and out. Your connection is going a little in and out.
Okay, I apologize, but go ahead.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, go ahead.
So no. I feel you. I definitely agree, and I think that, like folks are saying on Instagram. Let me see here. D says George Floyd did nothing warranting death in every video clip I saw. Nothing said kill a man, and that's how I feel. It's like each and every time, even if we sit here and break it down to the basis of why the police were called, the police were called because of a fake $20 bill. So you mean to tell me a counterfeit bill warrants somebody being publicly lynched because of whatever you think that this person has done? That was not a violent crime, and this man was not being belligerent to the fact of where you needed 5 police officers to you know what I mean? Is regardless of the fact, you could have done anything besides just putting your, like, that really just irritates me so badly. And even I saw the video, and I'm so thankful for that black man that got up there and testified. The guy, the mixed martial artist that was one of the other bystanders and of that day, and that witnessed all of this going down, and whose voice you can hear on the video calling both of them, both police officers, bums, which adequately, depicts them and tells them and explains and characterizes them so fully. But he got up there and basically doubled down on all of his things that he said and said, yeah, I said it. If you saw it in the video, then that's what I said. But what you're not going to do is paint me as an angry person, be trying to make it seem as though I was a part of the unrest that was going on that day that caused him, or whatever, Derek Chauvin, to feel like for some odd reason his attention was diverted from giving and administering care to an unconscious dying body because you felt that the crowd was growing unruly. That is beyond me. This man was just being a human, a civilian, somebody who had empathy, seeing another black man being killed at the hands of police, which gotta stop. So my thing is, if we don't receive justice in the court, I can't tell you what's going to happen in our state of union, in our nation. And all I can say is I pray to God that, I pray to God that we remain peaceful. That's all I can say.
Yeah. I agree. All I know is that, even if he was guilty of passing a counterfeit bill, that's not a capital crime. It does not equate to a capital crime. And it does not equate to a public execution, because that's basically what it was. He was executed right there on live TV in front of people, and we saw him alive, and then we saw him dead. And so I never have to scan. So I just it's interesting watching the defense team justifying his actions, justifying his behavior. So it'll be interesting to see. We're going into day 4. Well, it started on Monday, so yeah. So we're going into day 4 of the trial. So it'll be interesting to see how what direction this trial takes. So
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Let's check in with Facebook. Facebook is going ham over here. Um, so D Shield says supremacy payroll, the bum, the defense, the judge, the surveillance cam expert. Yeah, they all on payroll. Yeah, man. They all getting that dollar. Um, let's see. She also says Donald Williams is the voice of all of us. I believe that was the young man that was outwardly spoken. You know what I mean? The day of that incident happening. I believe he is the voice of all of us because I don't see how he was able to stay calm and remain calm during that. Um, Connie Samuel says, was the $20 even fake? Unfortunately, I believe it was. That's what they've said. Kathleen, black men are dehumanized, and it's sad. And I definitely agree. And it's unfortunate, man. Like, that's why I feel like as a black people, you know what I mean, men and women, black men and women, we got to unify and, join forces because ain't nobody going to have our back the same way a black woman is. In the same way that, black women have our backs, ain't nobody going to have a black woman's back except for a black man. So that's why we got to come together and stay together because socially, the culture, they're trying to divisively divide us, you know what I mean, divide and conquer. That's what they've been doing. That's how they broke up the Panthers. That's how they broke up the whole Black Power movement. You know what I mean? Divide and conquer by just trying to get into each other's minds and whatever. But together we strong. So, yeah, man,
okay,
it's unfortunate.
that's what's up. Yeah, well, we thank you, all of you, for tuning in to the Rolling Out AM Wake Up Call, and thank you very much for your sharing your thoughts and opinions about that. Um, I think this is a good time, good segue into my report for the day. Um,
Hmm.
Speaking of injustices, there's also, like I had said, the situation going on in Georgia where they passed these draconian laws, basically greatly restricting voting opportunities, and they're having a hard time coming up with a justification to rationalize why they pass these laws, and making a crime for to pass water to someone in line or to give them food, um, because they justify and say that if I give you water in line, then basically I'm influencing your vote. So that's why they're outlawing it. Okay, whatever, dude. So Tyler Perry is very upset, and goes to my first report. The movie mogul basically came out and lambasted, uh, basically the state of Georgia for the decision to pass these laws, and he is he's imploring the U.S. Department of Justice to go ahead and investigate the legalities behind the decision to go ahead and pass these laws. So I think that's a good idea to have the DOJ investigative arm go ahead and find out if these things are really unconstitutional. So he told a Hollywood Reporter that this is basically harkens back to a time of Jim Crowism, which is, of course, what President Biden has already said. So I don't know what your thoughts are about Tyler Perry and his asking for the Department of Justice to investigate the state of Georgia.
I think that is warranted. I've been hearing talks that, if Georgia decides to go further and, kind of solidify these plans of this voter suppression that they're doing or trying to, implement, um, it's going to have huge ramifications on the economy of Georgia. Just because, what I mean, a lot of I've heard entertainment industry and movies have basically threatened to pull out, what I mean, in support of this, against this voter suppression act. They're saying that if, they end up going through with it, they're going to stop doing the movies here. They're going to stop doing certain things. And honestly, I feel like it's going to throw off, what I mean, everything that we've already been trying to get to the next level. But I can't be mad at it because it's for a great cause. You know what I mean? Because here's the deal. They understand that as blacks, we have the majority in all of these rural black urban areas, like your Philadelphia's, your Georgia, your Atlanta, of course, some parts of Mississippi, Alabama. We are the majority. And even if you take it back in the day during the 60s and the 70s when the SCLC was prevalent, you know what I mean, the the nonviolent, you know, SNCC, the student nonviolent, uh, back during Martin Luther King, they had they had to sit in Lowndes County, and Lowndes County was considered black, like bloody county. But long story short, Lowndes County was like 90% black, but none of the people that were black were registered to vote. So when they were coming in, what they're doing in the SNCC, SNCC were coming to these different black counties that were heavily driven by these white, you know what I mean, oppressive unions, and making, they called the souls to the polls. They were going to the churches, trying to influence the blacks to go ahead and register to vote. Next thing you knew, you had all of these blacks that were registered to vote. They were being able to inflict change within these different communities. So the same thing has been happening nowadays as well, where you see a large black influx of people being able to vote because we registered to vote, we're voting, and we're being able to cause change. I mean, that's the reason why we changed Atlanta from you know, a Republican state to a Democratic state. You know what I mean? So all it is we're threatening them. We're threatening the construct of what's going on. You know what I mean? And they see it, and that's why they're having to amend it, because they can't control it.
Well, I mean, it's just. I mean, I just remember seeing a movie a long time ago. It was called JFK, and it basically it was just really just a quote that basically hit it. And the guy said, the guy who was investigating JFK's death was talking about, oh my God, I can't believe, why would they kill him? Why would they assassinate him? Because he think that there was a conspiracy. And the guy played by Donald Sutherland, his name was, he worked in Black Ops. And he said, kings are killed, Mr. Garrison. Politics is power, nothing more. And that statement resonated with me because of the fact that politics is not morality. Politics is not humanity. Politics is not about what's right. Politics is about power. It is about the acquisition, maintenance, and amplification of power. So when people don't understand why certain moves are being made or why they pass these laws, you have to understand that there is a certain demographic in this country that wants to maintain its power and feel threatened because everyone else is not really being viewed as true Americans. So no matter how well, like for example, now the Asian Americans now understand what it's like to be treated like a second-class citizen. So basically what they're doing right now is doing everything that they can and justifying it to maintain power. So we're paying the price. Georgia is now, Black Georgia, is paying the price for them flipping the state blue for the first time in like 36 years. And so basically that's my opinion on that, is the fact that they're doing what it takes to keep power, and they're gonna use any justification. And it doesn't matter, because politics is not about morality. Politics is power. Politics is not about what's right. Politics is plain power, nothing more. And so, just let that sink in for a minute as I go into my next segment before our guests come on at the top of the hour. You are watching the Rolling Out AM Wake Up Call, and I am the first King James from Akron to Atlanta instead of South Beach. And then we have Custom, who was born and raised in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying?
Atlanta.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, So TJ, if you could go ahead and flip up the next, because I did it yesterday pretty early, so I don't remember all the people that I sent to you that I was going to do today. Yes, we were talking about this earlier. I don't know how people feel about this, D Shields and the rest of the crew out there watching, but Deshaun Watson, who is the NFL, he has, of course, been charged, has been sued by two more women to bring a total of 21 women who are suing him, 21 masseuses who are suing him for alleged sexual harassment and sexual assault. But now, yesterday, there's 18 women who came out to support him, and they signed their names. Matter of fact, some of them gave testimony in this one letter saying that Deshaun Jackson did nothing to them. And so yeah, so I just wanted to know, Custom, what you thought, what are your thoughts about this? I mean, the optics are horrible. They're horrible.
Right.
When if it's one woman, two women, you could say, even if you're guilty, you can still come out and say plausible, you could use plausible deniability and say, is he say, she say, no, these women are crazy, it's a money grab. But when it's 21, man, the optics are just horrible.
Yeah, see, now that's when it becomes where it's like, all right, maybe one or two you could have been like, I don't know whether or not what's her intentions or whatever, but when it's like you said, the optics of 21, that means that, dude, you've been doing this for a minute, allegedly, because I don't know, but the mere fact of the matter is you just ain't been getting caught, or it's just now coming to fruition, or where, it's materializing to where multiple people are deciding to come forward, especially if they see one. Now, they're alleging that he did what now?
They're alleging that he sexually assaulted or had inappropriate relations or inappropriate acts with 21 masseuses. So football players are famous for getting massages because obviously for the bumps and bruises. And he was getting bumps and bruises, during this course of his career as a quarterback. So he's going to get hit a lot. So there's 21 women who says that he's guilty in a lawsuit. So they're saying that he's guilty of sexual harassment or assault. And then there's 18 women as of yesterday who have signed, who have come together and stated and listed their names in defense of him and saying that he did not do that. He doesn't seem like the kind of person that would do that. So you got 21 women on one side, 18 on another side. So I'm guessing that Deshaun Watson is pretty happy that he has someone in his corner because it was starting to look pretty bad for the brother. So yeah, he's being charged with not charged because he's not being criminally investigated. It's just the fact that he's up for a new contract and he's trying to leave the Houston Texans when all of this exploded with volcanic intensity all across the media in terms of him allegedly having inappropriate or having, he's being accused of inappropriate behavior with 21 female masseuses. That's a lot of masseuses.
Right. That is. Now, the juxtapose to that is, here's the deal. If he's done anything and if he's actually, guilty of whatever that they're alleging or whatnot, then that's terrible because you should not be, taking advantage of these masseuses, and especially because you think that if you're in this position of power as a player and as a social influencer and athletes, whatever, just having that feeling of where I can just do whatever. But my other side of that is hopefully that with you sharing that news that he's wanting to leave the Texans, that this isn't some type of behind the scenes political string pulling from the powers to be, and them saying like, oh, well, if you're going to leave, this is what we're going to do to you.
Well, yeah, this is, there are a lot of people on social media, especially sports fans, who say that there's behind the scenes machinations. Excuse me. And so, but you have this interesting dichotomy because on one hand you have 21 women who have accused him, and then on another side, on the other side, or you juxtapose that against the fact that these are women who are supporting him. So it's kind of leaving, everyone confused about who to believe, what to believe. And so, yeah. As we hear Custom handling his coffee in the background, I ain't mad at the brother because I need some coffee badly. You know what I'm saying? I need some caffeine. But anyway, so that's how the story is going. Like I said, it's not a criminal investigation on the lawsuit. And now that you have these 18 women, supporting him, it kind of makes it interesting to see how this goes forward in terms of the investigation. So
Yup.
Yeah.
So,
So
yep,
you got your
man.
coffee. Let me
I
go
can
ahead
hear
and
you.
get mine. I heard the coffee pot. I heard the coffee pot. I heard the coffee. I heard the water pouring. I heard it all, dude. I'm just like,
Oh,
you know what?
man.
I am love. I need me some coffee. So let me go ahead and break
I
off and let me go
needed
ahead
it.
and get my coffee. I'll be right back. I know that's right. I need my caffeine. So let me go ahead and check
I
out,
swear.
and I'll be right back.
All right, for sure. All right, man. So let's check in with Facebook. Oh, man. Hopefully, y'all having a great day today. Um, I'm doing well. This coffee's bringing me back to life. See, Terry, they they going in on you. Terry, we can't understand nothing you are saying. This Iris. Yeah, I know, Iris. I don't know what's going on with it. D Shield says, okay, this was back in about the cashier assumed that George was under the influence. So D Shield says, Iris, that's why I feel the cashier was in on what seems to be a premeditated crime. Yeah, to say drugs, yet it didn't appear that way at all. An autopsy later found it. So I feel it was out of in him when Chauvin dropped his body cam strategically. So, yeah. After choking Floyd and pulling him out of the squad car, yeah, it was so much by design that they just, you know, what I mean, had your how does your body cam just come off? Um, D Shield says chopped and screwed Terry. Yeah, man, that is funny. But coming up shortly though, we got two guests. Like we were saying before, we first guest that we have on the road is Miss D C Marshall. I'll give you a little bit more information about that CEO coming up shortly as we hear Terry taking his, coffee break or whatnot. Um, but yeah, man, hopefully you guys are staying safe from all of this pollen. In Atlanta, the weather, man, is so crazy. Like, interesting how we can go from being hot and being a gorgeous day to today we waking up and it feels like we back in fall. It's cold, wet, rainy. It's interesting though, like for real. But hopefully you guys are going to get your COVID vaccines as well. I've got mine. I got mine this past Friday at the Mercedes Dome, Benz Dome here in Atlanta. It was an excellent experience. They had everything organized perfectly well. I was a little nervous, I can't even lie, just because of what's up, Terry, welcome back. I was explaining to the
Yeah, what
folks
up?
at home my vaccination experience. Are you getting vaccinated?
Yeah. I think that
He said
it's
eventually.
no. I'm saying that a lot of people are contemplating it, whether or not they're going to do it. I've talked to many friends. Um, I don't know. I just think that it's a personal decision. I don't think that anybody, I just don't. I'm not going to reveal whether I've gotten it, going to get it, or will not. So all I know is that there are a lot of friends. I'm talking to a lot of people, and they're contemplating whether or not to get it. I know that one friend is adamantly against it, um, getting it. But then I know that a lot of people, like members of my own family, who have already done it. So yeah. So there's a lot of trepidation about getting it for some people because of the fact that there's there's always been a historical distrust of the United States government. Everyone remembers the Tuskegee experiment in the 1930s, and also counterintelligence program of the FBI that you were talking about. You mentioned with the decimation of the Black Panthers, Pro and J. Edgar Hoover. So we know all about that. And what does J. Edgar Hoover and the FBI have to do with a vaccination? Well, it has everything to do. Trust. We have been victims of government conspiracies in the past, and so you have to understand, when a lot of Black people are a little bit wary of has.
No, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of reluctancy. I mean, even if you think about the Tuskegee experiment, um, it's just so much distrust, like you said. But that's the reason, I guess that's why I wanted to be such of an advocate for now, because even though there has been a lot of mistrust, um, I mean, the mere fact that pretty much everybody in my family has gotten vaccinated, and my girl, she's actually a doctor. She's in her fourth. She's finishing up her fourth year of med school, med at Morehouse School of Medicine. So shout outs to her. But people like that kind of help build my trust back into the medicine to where I'm like, okay, we got to do something. We have to. And the way that I see it is, if I'm going to an administering site like the Mercedes Dome, and there's black people, there's white people, there's Asian, there's Hispanic, there's all different races of people there. And it's not just necessarily, what I mean, me as a black person being subjugated, like when they try to do it as voting, to where it's like, no, this is where you got to go because of your zip code and your address, and basically redlining where I can be able to go. It's like, nah, I'm here at this same testing site and this vaccinations point where everybody is getting the same, in essence, the same thing. You know what I mean? And I can't really be too confrontational or critical about it if there's a white gentleman over here getting the same vaccine at the same place that I'm getting it, unless they're pulling a switcheroo out of the box. But that still doesn't make sense. And the only other thing, right, and the only other thing that I can even attain to it is, the black DNA and the molecular structure of the black blood is a lot different, of course, than any other race. Then quite naturally, yeah, I mean, I can see that, but I don't know. Yeah, it is what it
Well,
is. But
yeah, it's not only because of the just the fear or distrust of the United States government. It's also the fear of the unknown because normally, as the virologist and the epidemiologist, Dr. Yee, and the fact that this one was developed inside of a year makes people a little bit nervous because of the solid, because of the side effects. So that's another component in all of this. So you have the
right,
distrust because of historical injustices against us, but it also you have to take a look at the fact that this is something that is new. That's why they call it the novel coronavirus because of the fact that this thing is unknown. We don't know all of the properties inside of this disease, this virus, and therefore, when you come up with a vaccine to fight it, you don't know everything that's in it and how it's going to impact you. Because some people are good, and then some people allegedly are not good after they take the virus. Like, for example, many people, many people believe that the baseball legend Hank Aaron, Henry Hank Aaron, died from taking the coronavirus vaccine. So there is no that, but they still believe that nevertheless.
no, I understand. No, and I think that the thing also is that you got to ask yourself, and people at home, and even black people, you know what I mean? If you have underlying conditions, the vaccine might be the thing that you possibly may need, because just say if you catch COVID, you know what I mean? There is no real certainty that you won't be able to fight it off or be able to be strong enough when it comes to, what I mean, all of what's going on. So I just feel like black people, please be
Uh,
smart, do your research, but be smart about what you make your decision in. And, you know, I don't know. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but just trust in your research, and you know what I mean, we got to do this together, and we got to. I'm tired of being in the corona quarantine period. Portia, what up? Welcome back. They was missing you on Facebook. You muted.
Pro-
Okay.
oh, okay. The producer didn't see my notes in the chat. It's fine though. Hey y'all, hey.
What up?
I'm good. How y'all doing? I had a crash assignment this morning, so I had to finish it. That looked a little crooked. I'm trying to fix it. It don't look right on screen. Okay, anyway. Hey. Hey y'all, hey. Yeah, so I didn't even catch any of the conversation. I just heard that Hank Aaron had died of well, King James was alluding to the fact that he passed away, but he was speculating that it may have been caused by the coronavirus. So, anyway.
I was sharing with the good folks at home that I got my vaccine on Friday, and
Oh, good for
yeah. So, and I go to get my second one on the 16th. But I was just sharing with folks here in Atlanta, if you are interested, the Mercedes-Benz Dome is an excellent spot to go. They were super organized. Yeah, man, got me in and out. I didn't really feel any pain. I mean, I relaxed my arm. He was just like, relax. If you tense up, it's going to hurt. And I was just like, oh, shit. Okay, just go ahead to get it over with. And you know what I mean? I went home. I felt a little lethargic, but I think that was just because of my body probably fighting overtime to, you know what I mean, deal with this new vaccine that's in my body, you know what I mean? So other than that, I felt good. I wasn't tripping, you know what I mean? I was good. And that's why I'm really wanting to advocate for it and tell everybody, make sure you go get vaccinated, bro. I'm just ready to get back out here and be active. Outside is open here in Atlanta, but we want to be outside for real.
I'm very anxious about my second shot, and it's coming up in April, the second week in April. And I you know what? I'm just gonna say it. I'm scared, y'all. I am scared. Guess anxious is a more appropriate word, but I'm scared, y'all.
Well,
yes.
But I just think that everyone who goes to get a vaccine, whether you do or not, I still think that you need to practice and adhere to the recommendations by the virologists and the epidemiologists and Dr. Anthony Fauci to wear a mask. Getting the vaccine is not a license to walk out free and reckless. You still need to take precautions. So I just wanted to make sure that people are aware of that. The vaccine does not automatically prevent you from getting it again, because we already had many reports of that happening.
When you getting your shot? That's what I want to know.
Listen, Portia. Let me explain something to you. Okay. Listen. You don't know if I already gotten it, because most of the members of my family,
because you would have been all over it, and you trying to go to Vegas in a couple of weeks. So I'm just saying, when you getting your shot, I'm telling everything I know.
I already went to Vegas.
You trying to go back? You trying to go back?
Okay, why are you putting my business in the streets? I don't understand that. I mean, I talk about this offline, and then you come online. You know what? You remind me of. You're like one of the. I mean, are you related to Tekashi 6ix9ine? I mean, because you're telling all my business.
Oh no! Oh God, no! Oh my God!
I mean, D Shields, come get your girl. I mean, what's she doing up in here? You know what I'm saying? That's my business now. See, I am one of the most adamant advocates of what Dr. Fauci says. I endorse him. You know what I'm saying? Look, everywhere I go, I have my hand
you
sanitizer.
Getting your shot?
Listen, Portia, like I'm like LeBron James. I'm like the second King James. Okay, he said when he gets it, he said when he gets it, or if he gets it, it's his business. And when I get my shot, it's my business, not yours.
Yeah, no, so it's everybody's business. We want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
Right.
Well, I want to know why you're scared to get your second shot. You already got the first one.
I'm just scared.
Why?
How did you feel after the first one, Portia?
I was my arm was hurting. So my arm, it just kind of hurt. But the trick to your arm hurting is just, move it. That's one of the
you gotta work it out.
Yeah. You just gotta continue to move it.
So no, this is real. Were you sore, or was it stiff, or both?
It was both. If you didn't move it, you felt that, it felt heavy. It felt very, very heavy. So you had to move it.
Wow. As if you had slept on it, like it was feeling kind of numbish.
Like you had pulled, like you slept on it, like you pulled a muscle, like you have been working out. You don't know that you don't know that feeling though, because you don't never work out. But custom.
It did feel like that though. I think. Yeah.
Okay. You know,
when you be working out.
Listen, D Shield said on Facebook, she says, hang in there, custom. They at it again. You right, D. You right. You right.
I'm just saying it's a feeling that he's unfamiliar with because you get it once you work out and your muscles be sore. That's what happens.
Yeah. I'm feeling it right now.
and I'm just
Yesterday was leg day.
I'm just trying to understand how in the hell this woman could justify saying something like this when she admits she's never played sports. I played sports. See, I played sports. So I know what it's like to work out, okay? I know what it's like. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, y'all. Yeah.
Anyway.
Okay.
Yes, do we know that we have on shortly our prize guest, and it'd be good to speak with Miss Marshall. But for right now, I just think that what the King James said, the second King James, because I'm the first King James, he said that whatever he decides to do is a private decision, and he's not going to share it with the public. So basically, he's trying to tell people like Portia, get up out of mine. Stop sweating me. Don't worry about it. Get up out of mine. I'm a man about mine, so I don't need you to handle mine because I handle mine. Okay? Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
I understand.
Okay.
But yeah, because people feel like it's their business. And I mean, it's his personal choice if he wants to get it or not. I don't know. But Terry needs to get it because he be traveling all around. He's not in the bubble. He doesn't have the shield, the force shield of the NBA.
Portia say he had at what's the girl's name? Jocelyn Hernandez parties with the leg on his shoulder.
I was looking for that picture the other day. How
did you find that out, Custom? See, that's what I'm talking about. You know what? You are canceled as an FB friend because because you can't be taking my stuff and just showing it to everybody. But because
that picture now,
that woman surprised me. That woman surprised me because we were just taking a picture, hugged up, and then at the last minute she was goofing. Huh?
You look like you liked it though. Anyway, y'all, listen. It's 9:15.
How could you tell I had a mask? I had a mask on. How would you know?
You were smizing.
So you're lying. So you're lying.
You know how to
smizing.
Anyway, y'all, it is 9:15 on the Rolling Out AM Wake Up Call, and we do have a guest. Let's bring on DC Marshall, who is an international speaker. Good morning. She's an international speaker, certified coach, leadership trainer, and diversity consultant. She's also the CEO at Diverse and Engaged, and was recently named the top 25 influential Black women in business by the Network Journal and the top 25 leading entrepreneurs. She's a Wall Street alumna and a go-to person for high-level, high-ranking, and high-profile women, a tech policy influencer, a contributor to Essence Magazine, Black Enterprise, the New York Times, and others. She's the founder of GNI, and her honors include Where Congress Meets Culture, Inclusion and Belonging, the curator of Diversity on the Hill, Win, Rock, and Rule, the co-host of Be Lifted Up radio show on Sirius XM, and Girlfriends Pray founder, What Do You Not Do? Welcome to the show, D.
Hey there. Good morning, gorgeous and greatness. Good morning.
Good morning.
And let me just say, in order to be in the room with y'all, I got my shot. Okay. I have my second shot. And I'm still here. I got my second shot last Sunday.
Okay, well, Portia still has the cooties because she hasn't gotten her second shot yet. So
I get my shot. I get my second shot in April, the second week in April. And I was just telling the guys that I'm literally scared because, so that's when you read that there are a lot of symptoms that happen after the second shot. You get lethargic, you get the chills, you're down for about a day, you're fatigued, all of that. Did you experience any of that?
Can I tell you this, Portia? How about I read the same thing? I read everybody who got the second shot, and how they were tracking their response and the reaction. I'm in the Peloton community. Everybody was talking about, when can I ride again? When can I work out? So I tracked 12 hours. They said 12 hours after You get the shot, you start to get the symptoms. It's going to last for 36 hours. I plan my life around it. Portia, I took off on a Monday to plan my life around it. Are y'all with me? You planning to be sick. Oh, you're planning to be sick, D. Marshall? Oh, you're planning to be sick. Oh, you're planning to be sick. Oh, you got this all figured out. Oh, you're gonna take off to be sick. Let me just, you're going to get that Tylenol because the Peloton, the people told you it's going to be 12 hours. Oh, you set your alarm for 12 hours after. So, Portia, almost for 2 weeks, I was planning to be sick and I caught myself.
Oh, Lord.
And I backpedaled and I backtracked. I said, you know what? Actually, I'm planning to be well. God, I'm going to trust my life and my health in your hands, and everything will be well. I'm not planning to be sick. I'm planning to be well. And so I just shifted my mindset. I promise you 2 days before, when I got my shot on Sunday 2 weeks ago, I did not get sick. No. I will tell you in real talk. So my arm was sore, right? But that's different from being sick. Like I didn't have chills. I wasn't in bed. So I went to work the next day on Monday. I felt good, but I did take all my vitamins. And probably at the end of the day, maybe I started to get a little bit of a headache. But I think I was just so sold out on, you know what? I'm really gonna plan to be well. I'm not gonna track how other people are tracking. It's not gonna affect everybody the same way. So I think if we just mentally set our mind like, look, God, it's on you at this point. I can't trust, not to have the vaccine. I can't trust to have the vaccine. But how about I'm going to put all my money on you, okay? I'm going to put all my money on you, God. I'm going to get this because I've done things to jeopardize my health. For everybody who has ever had a drug story. So you mean to tell me you experimented with drugs, but you can't experiment it with a vaccine? Am I preaching to anybody more?
Come on. Pastor D, speak to him. This is this Thursday. Come on. Yes, that's how I feel. Y'all put all these other different toxins in your body, all this other crap, and you can't put something that's supposed to prevent you from dying from COVID. It's not preventing you from getting it, but if you know what I mean, if you get it, it's going to be able to help you protect you and sustain you.
And keep preaching. Help Portia get her life. Help Portia get her life.
Portia, no, she got it. Portia and I are here, right?
No. Portia is irritating us because.
Oh God. Don't pay him no mind. The producer told him to be good. He don't know how to be good. But then you was preaching to me, and I've received that. Like I'm not planning my life around being sick. I'm planning my life around getting through it, moving with intention, making sure that I'm preparing my mind to say, listen, I got this. Like you roll the dice when you go outside anyway. So why are you sitting up there preparing to be sick?
That's right.
Exactly.
Doing that.
That's right.
Thank you. I needed that today.
Yep.
Yes.
I might to use that.
Yeah. I caught myself if I didn't. But
I was going to say I might have.
But I was like, y'all, I mean, definitely I was there like, okay, let me just be ready. I was nervous, but once I started, finding out the information and I said, okay, I'm going to just prepare myself, embrace myself. If the chills happen and all of that, I'm going to be good. But then I backpedal. That's a good backpedal. So there you go.
I love it. So tell us about your background, speaking of backpedal, but tell us about your journey and your background. You spent some time on Wall Street. You empower women in the community, as we've just seen. You gave me that. Like I needed that. I'm putting that on my back because I'm not preparing to be sick. But you're, like I said, you're an alumni of Wall Street. You empower women. Tell us about your journey into where you are now from where you came.
Yeah. So I'm the CEO at Diverse and Engage now. I run my own firm, but prior to this, I worked on Wall Street for many years. I trained $1 million producers on Wall Street, spent my career in training and development. And, I'm probably going to date myself, but I worked on Wall Street on September 11th when there was a terrorist attack on the U.S. and I had my own story of down 33 flights of stairs on September 11th. And, you know, I'm going to say the short story, the long story short, is it was a defining moment for me. You know, just when you come to a crossroads in your life, it really gives you the opportunity to make a definitive decision about who you want to be in life, how you want to show up, the kind of life you want to have. And so, you know, so that's part of my backstory, you know, and even precursor to that, when I worked on Wall Street, I just felt really good about being there, having, you know, come from a single mom who had 2 children by the time she graduated high school. So, you know, going to work on Wall Street was really an accomplishment of sorts. But that was a defining moment on September 11th or the day after. You know, September 11th. Yeah. So y'all too young to remember all that kind of stuff. But yeah, but
No,
that, yeah.
Portia's not. No, she's not. She lies about
You
her
know
age.
what?
Terry is pushing 60.
Now-
But go ahead, D.
Yeah, but see, yeah. So yeah, but anyway, I really do remember that day and that time, and that was you know, man, that changed the world. I mean, you know, I remember when I went into the military. Just before that, when I went into the military, my mom was able to walk me to the plane on the tarmac and walk me up the stairs before I got on the plane. After 9/11, all of that changed. So the
all
world
of it changed
after that. So it must have been something to actually go through that, to be in the city right there in that building. That had to be a hell of an experience. So God bless you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So go ahead, Portia.
No, I was just gonna say, tell us about what.
No,
you
we don't want to hear her
as
talk. We want to hear you talk.
So yeah, so I was gonna say, so I worked at One New York Plaza, which is, and so the short story on that day, so I was in my office with my colleague Sue Ellen, and we were watching people walk by our office and thinking, oh wait, are we late for a meeting? Somebody comes into the office and they say, hey, there's a fire over at the World Trade Center. So I was at One New York Plaza, so we could see the fire over across the way. And the moment we got over there, we then saw a plane out of our left peripheral just come, you know, by the window and crash into the World Trade Center. I was the second person to the elevator. It was a huge elevator bank. The reason I was the second person to the elevator, because I went back to get my purse. Okay, yes, I did. Yes, I'm a Black woman. I went back to get my purse.
You better say that. Had to get your purse. If anything else, I'm gonna get my purse. Yeah, nah.
We securing the bag. Secure your own bag, and we gotta
secure the bag.
That's right. The elevators never opened again. We went down 33 flights of stairs, and so even though I say September 11th, it really was September 12th that was a defining moment, because that's when, you know, I woke up in the morning and there was these questions, powerful questions that I think everybody could relate to in terms of how you live your life. And the one question was, if I died yesterday, which was September 11th, would I have any regrets? And so I always like to hear that with people, you know, talk about empowering women and kind of how my life has been set up. It's just always asking the question, if I died yesterday, would I have any regrets? Everybody has had a defining moment. You either lost somebody, right? You either, right, you lost someone, you lost a job, maybe there was an illness or a diagnosis, but everybody has a defining moment. And what happens is, you know, I believe life is 10% what happens and 90% how you respond. And so it really is just how you respond, making a decision about, you know, what do you want to do now? And I just decided I didn't want to be average. I don't want to be average, status quo, mediocre. I don't want to just go back to Wall Street, you know, 9 to 5 and, you know, get my Starbucks 3, average, status quo, mediocre. And so that started the journey. And that's how I have gone from, you know, Wall Street to Obama White House, just having 6 years access there, speaking around the country, and then, you know, just being able to run my own, you know, a company here employ other people, you know, Black women, when we run
Absolutely.
stuff, we look out our people. We look out for our people.
Absolutely.
We say, look, bro, you need, what you doing? Okay, I got a project or I have a job. Hey, sis, what you doing? What do you do? Sell me something. Yes, I hire people. Okay, come through. And so that's the short
That's amazing.
story. Yeah.
No, that's
Absolutely.
amazing.
Well,
What did you do? Real quick,
I got
what
one
did you do
question.
for Mr.
Oh,
Obama? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no,
Go
I was
ahead,
just gonna say,
Mr.
I see that you had the privilege to coach the First Lady of Bermuda. Tell us a little bit about that. How was that experience? That's because that was pretty cool.
Yeah. You know what's so interesting? She retained my services before her husband won the election in Bermuda, which they call it not the president, they call him the premier. And so, and actually, this is, y'all will love the story. How did I get to coach the First Lady of Bermuda? A brother who was consulting them brought in a sister. Come on, do you see?
Come on.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, in fact, his name is Derek Green. Yes. So he brought me in, and in fact, he was working on the project, and he said to a sister, he said, you know, we need to figure out how to mobilize and empower women in Bermuda. And my girlfriend, her name's Micheline Davis, she said, you need D. Marshall. And so I only gave that because I know y'all would appreciate how it is that we look out for each other, right? And how we have to bring each other along. So that's how I got there. But what was it like? She's just like a everyday Black magic, fabulous, amazing, educated, powerhouse Black woman who said, look, that part. But real, and like, you know what? I need balance in my life. And I see on your website, this is what you do, D. Marshall. So help us out. I'm like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go in so you could guard and protect your name when you go in as First Lady, guard and protect your relationship. We're going to work on that. And so it was awesome. It was just like, you know, working with other powerful Black women who are already powerful. They're already successful, but always, you know, open to and to support, right? To hold the space for, you know, who you are, who you want to be, so you don't get caught up, so that, you know, protect your house, protect your bank account, your name, and so on and so forth. So anyway, yeah.
I love how you share
stories. I'm loving this. I feel like we're kindred spirits because of the fact that I think we're kindred spirits because of the fact I've traveled to Bermuda before. So you know, much power to you. I just wanted to know, what did you do for President Obama? Because that's fascinating to me. Because I've also been to the White House, so we got a lot in common here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I did not work for the administration. So when I say I had 6 years access, so what it means is whenever there was a call for women leaders or African-American leaders, I was called to the table. And what I love about this is sharing this story is because it gives insight as to how do you get a power seat. So I didn't work for the administration. I know fabulous, amazing people who work for. So just to clarify, Heather Foster worked for the Obama administration. Charmian Kinder worked for. So there's lots of amazing people. Joshua Dubois, who is a powerhouse of a brother, was special assistant, right hand, ride or die for President Barack Obama. So those are the people who work for. But the access that I had as a result of amazing sisters like Melanie Campbell, who's the president and CEO of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation, Dr. Barbara Skinner Williams. These are leaders in the community who say, when the White House reaches out to them, and they will say, we're hosting and having XYZ, and so we have X number of seats for you, and then they bring us in. And so what was it like? It was really like just being at the table where people are talking about you. And now you get to hear, right? You get to be at the table, right? Because there's a saying, if you are not at the table, you're on the menu. And so, right, it's just being at the table, being able to hear what is the conversation that is happening at the White House about people who look like me, about women in general, and then Black people in particular. So they were, just to be clear, so over those 6 years, I attended briefings. So they would call women in or call African American leaders in, and they would talk about things that impact us or things that affect us. So that was what it was like. Sometimes in their largest room in the South Auditorium, I think it's about maybe 100 seats for 100. But here's the real thing. When they invite you in, or let's just say when we get a seat, because there's only 100 women or 100 seats, they're expecting invite the people in the room who's going to share with the other people. Invite the people in a room who's already speaking to the community and already has a following. And so that's what I learned is they invite leaders and influencers, but people who they believe will be responsible to share with the community. So that's what it was like. And then lastly, so that happened over the 6 years. I was invited to the Christmas party. And then y'all want to hear about the real turn up? Yes, I was at the infamous Love and Happiness real turn up to the 10th hour, where the White House became the Black House on the way out. When President Barack Obama was baby, he was just Barack, baby. When D Nice was on the one, when D Nice was on the ones
yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
D, you have a phenomenal way of sharing your stories. We want you to come back. We definitely got to get you to come back. It was worth it working with your team to get you on. I was very excited about making sure that we got you on. I stayed with it, and I was like, okay, she's going to be a great person, a great, great, great storyteller. We didn't get a chance to talk about all of the things that you do for women, empowering women. I also wanted you to touch on the George Floyd case and how that shifted corporate culture, and we're coming up on the 1 year anniversary. They're in the trial. We're gonna have to have you come back though. I am going to ask you this last question though, because we just ended Women's History Month. We recognize sisters with superpowers during Women's History Month, and I just want to know from you, last question, what do you consider your superpower to be?
Prayer, and just speak it into the atmosphere.
Yeah, I love it.
That's real.
I love it. We're gonna get you to come back. We might have to do something special with you one-off by yourself. So King James don't overtalk me, and we can really have a good conversation.
I just wanted to get a question in, but I mean, you are fantastic. You are a riveting storyteller. So we got to have you come back, please. Thank you.
I so appreciate
and my fault. And I would be remiss to not add that the folks on Facebook are asking Miss D, what are your socials? So tell the folks at home how they can stay in contact with you and reach out and, tap into your superpowers and just hear more of your greatness.
Yeah, everywhere online. I'm at DC Marshall, DEEC Marshall. I play the most and hang out the most on IG. I boss up on LinkedIn. I'm doing deals, cutting checks, collecting, and where all the money resides on LinkedIn. But everywhere else, I'm at DC Marshall, and also www.dcmarshall.com.
I love it. I'm going to work with your team so that we can get you to come on again. And perhaps
when she's not here, of course.
We're going to make sure Terry not here next time, okay? So we can have some girl power, But Dee, thank you so much. We definitely appreciate you. We will have you back soon. Take care.
All right, guys. Take care. Have a good day.
All right.
God bless you.
You too. Thanks for the inspiration too. I needed that. Because dealing with King James all day, y'all.
No, you need help. What you need is help. And you need some remedial training in how to run a show because and to watch the notes because you were being directed, but you deviated from that. And so
if y'all would have saw the very first note that I put on, we wouldn't have been in that situation in the first place. But that's neither here nor there. We got another guest.
We'll talk about this offline. So
she's an attorney. She's got to tell us about the George Floyd case and what's going on, what's taking place. She's going to bring us up to speed on the witnesses and why it is that we got to relive this trauma. Because I promise you, I just don't understand. Miss Kelly White Gibson Esquire, welcome to the Rolling Out AM Wake Up Call. I'm loving your backdrop.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Appreciate it.
So Miss White Gibson is she was born and raised in Gary, Indiana. Why that made me want to sing, Kelly? I'm going back.
People do that all the time. Well, which one we gonna sing? So white folks sing Gary, Indiana, and black folks sing, I'm going back to Indiana. So which one were you gonna do?
I was going back to Indiana.
Don't do it.
The Jackson 5.
Yes, Jackson 5. She's an attorney with a vibrant solo practice in Northwest Indiana and Chicago, Illinois, with over 26 years of practice. She graduated top 10 of 552 students from Roosevelt High School before leaving for Palo Alto, California. That's my home stomping grounds, the Bay Area. In California, she received her Bachelor of Arts.
You're from Detroit. You're from Detroit, so keep going.
She received her Bachelor of Arts from Stanford with honors. She was double majoring in political science and African American studies. She returned home and prompted by a full scholarship to Valparaiso University School of Law, Valpo. While at Valpo Law, she held a position on the executive board of the Moot Court Society, became BLSA president her third year, and interned in the school's legal clinic, which partnered with Legal Services of Northwest Indiana. She earned her Juris Doctorate in '94 with honors in constitutional law and legal writing. Attorney Gibson has been practicing law for over 27 years and has held positions in the Lake County Prosecutor's Office, Cook County Public Guardian, and the Public Defender's Office, and currently in the Lake County Court's Criminal Division. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You make me sound good.
Listen,
oh my gosh.
I was and I'm very impressed. Yes, Stanford.
Absolutely, same.
Yes, top of your class. Yes, BLSA president.
Val Pro. Yeah.
Yes, Val Pro. Yes, Juris Doctorate. See, Terry don't have nothing to say because he don't know nothing about what we was just talking about. But I'm gonna give you your flowers now. I'm gonna let you talk. Bring us up to speed on the George Floyd trial. And well, actually, it's not the George Floyd trial. It's the Derek Chauvin trial, but they're trying to make it into the George Floyd trial. Bring us up to speed on what's taking place.
It actually is on trial.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, the defense's strategy is to put him on trial to try to make it all about him. And you know, one of the things that people need to really know and understand is the prosecution has a huge burden because they have to convince everybody, all 12, right? If there's one holdout, that's a win for Derek Chauvin. If there's one person that the defense attorney can dog whistle to, which is what I believe they're doing, and incite that fear or stereotypical like angry crowd, you know, drugged out black man. If there's one person that holds out, then it could be a hung jury. So the prosecution really has to get all of the jurors to listen to and believe their eyes, like he said over and over again. So Jerry Blackwell kept saying in his opening statement, which I thought was very insightful, and it was a great thing, you can believe your eyes, right? So this trial has a lot of video testimony. And over again, like yesterday, they finally admitted the body cam video that no one had seen before. And so we could actually see and hear what the officers were doing. Everyone had kind of seen a little bit of the video that the young lady had taken, but now we're seeing every single angle. So the prosecution has to get all the jurors to believe their eyes. The defense attorney is trying to distract them. He's trying to make it about George Floyd, the fact that he was high, the fact that he's a big guy, the fact that the crowd was angry. I mean, which I think is absolutely ridiculous, right? That
ridiculous.
You know, ridiculous that he didn't take his knee off his neck because the crowd was around. But honestly, I'm gonna tell you, in my opinion, he didn't take his knee off his neck and pressed harder because the crowd was around, not because he was distracted, but because he was irritated and angry. And the more that they pled with him to save his life and check his pulse and get up, it looked like there were two witnesses that testified, the harder he pressed on his neck. If those witnesses are believed, if those witnesses, just those two, are believed, then they have what they need for the second-degree murder charge, the third-degree murder charge, and the manslaughter charge. And you know what I want America to know is trials are, and I tell my clients this all the time. Listen, when you go to trial, it is like going to play some craps. You know, you can hit a 7 or 11, or you can crap out. You never know, because you're talking to people, right? And even though we think this is an open and shut case, there are certain things in the law that they have to prove, and they're going to give very specific instructions about what they had, that the prosecution had to prove. And sometimes the judge will preclude certain evidence and steer the trial in a certain way that makes it not common sense. So everybody looking at it, common sense says they killed this man, right? They held him down, they pinned him down until he was no longer breathing. But they have to prove every element, right? So they have to prove that that pressure applied to him caused his death. And that's where the defense is going to argue that that wasn't the cause of death. And remember, they only need to reach one person.
Yes, and I thought that was I'm sorry, Portia. I just wanted to say I thought that was an outstanding point, because one of the things that has not been brought up just now is that I don't think anybody has been thinking about, or the mass majority have not been thinking about, that the defense just needs one juror. And I already have been listening and hearing the euphemisms that he has been using. You talk about dog whistling. I've heard the euphemistic terms that he has been using, and even that martial arts guy, he bucked back at his attempt to use that dog whistle. No, you ain't gonna make me look like an angry black man. And he
I
said
love
that.
that. I loved he was saying that. He was like, I'm not angry.
Right.
Yeah.
He would not say he was angry. I'm frustrated. I was pleading. You know, I mean, I would tell you, it depends on who was watching, right? So my son was listening, and he's got a history. He's been in law enforcement for years, right? So he was listening to his testimony. He wasn't able to watch him listening. He said he was thinking, "Oh, okay, calm down, because I don't want the jurors to feel intimidated," because he was pushing back a little bit. He was like, "If that's what I said, yeah, I called him a bum." You know what I mean? So he was a little concerned. My son was a little concerned hearing it, but not seeing it, that maybe he sounded a little aggressive. I watched it, and other people watched it. I felt he did a great job at keeping his demeanor calm and at answering the question effectively. Yeah, I meant what I said. I said what I said, but I was pleading for this man's life, right? And you're not going to make me say I was angry. I was frustrated. I was upset. I thought he did a great job. I thought seeing him, and he was a great witness in that he kept looking at the jury. That when you can connect with the jury, that's very important, and everybody doesn't do that. I tell you another. The prosecution has been, to me, knocking out the park. They've had some great witnesses. The young lady who cried and said that sometimes she stays up at night, apologizing to George Floyd. That was such an emotional. When I hear it again,
the woman who works for the
fire
department.
I was about to say, the firefighter was excellent. I thought she was excellent. Even though, people criticized her and said that, she got a little bit in the weeds when he was impeaching her, where she got a little bit argumentative, but that happens on cross-examination. It happens all the time. I did not like how the judge reprimanded her on camera. I didn't think it was necessary. And I'll tell you something else, and this is what I about, you never know what's going to happen in a trial. So this judge is known for being fair and impartial, right? But I felt, and I heard him during the cross-examination, when Nelson was cross-examining her after she had given excellent testimony to the prosecution, the judge actually objected to one of her answers. That's not his job. And I don't know if anybody else noticed that. I haven't heard anyone talk about it. The judge stated an objection. He is supposed to wait for the attorneys to state the objection and state the reason for the objection before he rules on it. It's not his job to object. It's his job to rule impartially on the objection. In fact, I've seen judges where if the attorney is new, fresh, doesn't know, trial rules and doesn't object, judge allow all kinds of things to come into evidence because it's up to that attorney to know their case and to object to the evidence being presented. But
why would the judge do something like that? In your opinion, why do you think?
I
that's
think
actually a good question.
maybe he got a little caught up in the moment of the cross-examination, maybe in his zeal to be fair to both parties, to be fair to Derek Chauvin. Maybe he is a more fair judge, because you got to remember, they're prosecuting him. Normally, we want judges to be fair and even a little bit more fair to the defendant, because generally the prosecution has all of the tools. You know, the police are on their side, probation's on their side, usually the courts are on, everybody's on their side. So you want a judge that's fair, that's really going to make the prosecution prove their case. So I'm thinking maybe that's why he got caught up. But it struck me as odd that he reprimanded her so harshly and said, "I'll decide when you are finished with your statement." That's your answer.
How, sir? Right. How?
Right.
How can you decide when I'm done? Because I know I said what I said, and I'm done when I'm done. Like, how can you decide when I'm done? Yeah, that kind of made me turn my head around and be like, who you talking to?
What kind of privilege type of thing is this? Yeah.
Right. We're at the beginning, so you never know when that kind of thing is going to happen, or what's going to be overruled that needed to come in, or what evidence is going to be kept out of the trial, because we haven't been privy to that. And so most of those motions are done prior to the beginning of the trial. They may have wanted to bring in Derek Chauvin's entire record of all these complaints that are against him, and likely the judges probably ruled that that's got to be kept out. Now, there are ways for some of that to come in depending on if he testifies, right? But I don't know if the judges ruled to keep it out. I am just betting that he probably did.
So there's a comment on Facebook that says they all saw what we saw, which is a fact, right? I mean, I will venture to say that that's a fact. They all saw what we saw. Is there any potential possibility where we stand right now that Derek Chauvin could get off? And if so, what would that be?
So if you are old enough to remember the Rodney King trial, I was in law school when the Rodney King trial happened. And we all saw what they saw. And yet and still, those officers walked away scot-free.
I was going to ask about
and it's because they took that film and they broke it down, and they made allegations, and that the jury bought. So I never tell a client that this is a slam dunk. I never say for sure we got this. And in a case like this, you would think this is a slam dunk. There are multiple videos, multiple witness accounts. You would think that this would be an open and shut case, but I promise you guys, be prayerful. Let's pray that the justice system does the right thing, that those jurors are courageous enough to do the right thing, and that there's no one on that jury who buys into the narrative that Nelson is trying to paint about George Floyd distracting them, or the narrative that the crowd was angry and they were fearful, because that's that fear thing. Like, oh, they were afraid of this angry crowd, this crowd of mostly minorities yelling and cursing at them. Let's hope nobody buys into that and then doesn't want to convict, because there's such a thing called jury nullification. Jury nullification is you could have all of the evidence. The prosecution can completely present the case perfectly, and a defense attorney can get the jury to nullify it by having empathy for the defendant, or finding a reason to hang their hat on to still say not guilty. So I just want to put that out there, and I'm not trying to make everybody upset, but I want people to be aware of the possibilities. Even though the prosecution is doing an awesome job. An awesome job.
No, we thank you. Does Derek Chauvin come across as a sympathetic character?
No.
Okay.
I didn't think he was sympathetic at all. I don't think the way he's doodling in court, and they give them we give clients a pad and a pen, so they have something to do with that.
That part right there. But that part right there made me kind of irritated watching that, just seeing him sitting there like doodling and like looked like he was note taking, and it's like here again, that's that white privilege, because all I could see is if it was the reverse, if the converse happened and it was a black man sitting there, first off, he wouldn't be probably in that suit. Let's be honest. He wouldn't be sitting there writing on a piece of paper and doing all of this other stuff. But I hate how they're trying to, like, even from the first day when the defense attorney was giving his opening statements, and he was just like, you can make it be about 8 minutes and 29 seconds, but to be honest, it's about so much more. We have 50,000. What did he say? It was called the lawyers, the different amounts of notes that you guys have that correspond to each other, so that you
Exhibits
all
and
on the same
documents.
page. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So he was just like, it was like
Pieces of evidence.
50,000, I guess, of them. Right.
Pieces of
So, and
evidence.
it's just it's a shame how he's trying to, make this less about the heinous act that Derek Chauvin has inflicted and killed, publicly lynching, a black man over a counterfeit $20 bill. That does not constitute somebody losing their life. Especially if
That
you're going to sit
issue.
here and try to tell me that because this person may have had fentanyl in their blood, that they were just going to miraculously just die because they had that in them now. And it's like the toxicology didn't even show that, it was an overdose. This
No.
man had imminent death because you had his knee on his neck, asphyxiating his air passage. And on top of that, like you were saying, it disturbed me seeing that video yesterday that revealed the other portion of what we did not see. In a sense, the dark side of the moon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That other portion of that side of the car, seeing them having him in like a submission hold, squeezing his hand, turning his wrist up while it's in that those cuffs, all whilst having a knee on your neck, as well as like the gentleman that was the prosecutor was saying, not being able to expand his rib cage and his lungs to be able to breathe. All while you got to say he's breathing in the toxics of of the street, the concrete, as well as he's right there next to the exhaust pipe of that police car. All of these different factors you got to come in to take in and understand that you killed this man. It wasn't drugs.
And he was terrified. Yesterday was important because yesterday really showed they used I think his name was Mr. McNeil, if I remember correctly. They used the older black guy to really show that he was terrified. He was terrified of the police. George Floyd was terrified. He was afraid because he had previous interactions with the police. He kept saying he had been shot before. They came to his window with guns drawn for an offense that they could have given him a ticket, a summons to appear in court for. He didn't even have to be arrested for that. Okay?
Let me ask you this before we go. We got about...
They would come to their window like that if he hadn't been a black man.
Absolutely. So we only have about 5 minutes before the end of the show. This is so good. We want to take you longer, but there is a question on Facebook that says, how much time is he really facing with all 3 charges? Will it add up to real justice?
Good question.
Okay, so the charge that is the hardest for them to prove is the second-degree murder charge. He can get up to 40 years for that, and that would be the maximum. If they prove count 1, count 2, and count 3, which is 40 years for second degree, 25 years for third degree, and then count 3, I believe, only goes up to 10 years, and that's the manslaughter charge. They can run them consecutively. Now, don't hold your breath, because it doesn't even happen very often with regular people, but with a police officer, they're not going to run those consecutive. So he could get 20, he could get 40, 25, and 10. But that is unlikely to happen. The hardest charge to prove is the second-degree murder because they have to prove that there was intentional force or violence against him, an assault in the third degree, that he intended to hurt him, to do a felony harm to him, and that causes death. And I think that they established that when the witnesses talked about him continuing to put pressure even after the EMT, after the firefighter was saying, check his pulse, let me help, please get off of him, he's not breathing, his nose is bleeding, he's passed out. I mean, all of this, and then he put more pressure. I think that was, if all the jurors believe that, then I believe that they've proven that, and that's the most serious charge. And like I said, it goes up to 40 years. The third degree murder charge, which is probably the most likely one for them to be able to get if they're going to get a murder charge, that goes to 25 years. The way the judge is acting now, I just don't know if he would even give him the maximum. Like I said, I didn't like the way that the firefighter was a powerful witness for the prosecution, and he really admonished her. And even when the defense attorney was trying to impeach her, he wasn't impeaching her on anything that was seriously important, whether or not she thought he was a small man because he looked frail under the 3 officers or not. I didn't even see what the point was, why it was even so really relevant.
Right.
So I just want people to realize that, yes, he can be sentenced consecutively on all the charges if he is convicted on all 3, but that's unlikely to happen. Normally, they sentence what's called concurrently, where they run them all together, and the highest sentence is what's imposed. And that's going to be up to the judge. It's going to be up to the judge because...
Yeah, you really enlightened us today. You broke it down in terms that we all could understand. We have to have you back so that you can give us another update and break it down so eloquently like you did today. And just let us know. We're all continuing to watch. Like one of the viewers said, we all saw what we saw, and we're just hoping that the jurors see that as well and can admit to it and have the courage to show up for that, because it really does take courage. So
you guys hold on and watch for those the expert witnesses, because it's going to be important as to who they believe, which expert they believe as to the cause of death. That's really the only thing that Chauvin's attorney can hang his hat on, the cause of death. Was the cause of death Chauvin's
They're definitely going to try. Yeah. So they're definitely going to try to lean towards the illegal narcotics, definitely, especially fentanyl.
Yep, exactly. Okay. Which
thank you so much. So ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're most welcome.
Facebook is blowing up for you. Unfortunately, we don't have time to go through all the comments, but they did say,
can you come back?
Show.
Can you come back?
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. I promise Portia won't talk as much. We will give you more time to do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? She took about 15 minutes on the introduction, which was good. We needed to know your credentials. But I mean, she don't know how to wrap things up. So yeah, we got to have you back.
Okay. We don't even have enough time for positive thoughts, y'all. We just gonna say thank y'all so much for tuning in. We had 2 phenomenal guests. Thank you, Attorney White Gibson. We appreciate you and the way that you broke it down, because Terry is very remedial and a lot of times he can't comprehend things. So thank you for breaking it down, especially for him. But we're gonna have you come back soon, probably next week, to keep up with what's going on with the trial.
Absolutely.
That's it. That's all we got today, y'all. No positive thoughts. We're just gonna see y'all tomorrow. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thanks, Kelly. We appreciate you.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for
and shout outs to D. Marshall. Appreciate you. We enjoyed it.
We're gonna have her come back as well.
Yeah, thank you, D. Marshall, for helping Portia get a life. You know what I'm saying? We need you to come back to help her get the rest of her life.
See y'all tomorrow.
The sun is shining, nice and bright. The birds are chirping, and I'm excited. Time to get ready for another day. No one can stop us, so we gon' learn to play.
Thank y'all for tuning in, everybody. Thank you for our wonderful guest, Marshall, Attorney Kelly White Gibson. Carter, one of our favorites. King Gracie Worthy, one of our favorites. Robert A. Goins, Rockshire. If you related to Terry, you're not one of our favorites. If you're not, you one of our favorites. Everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. Kathleen, Colvin.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all. Giovanni Ridgway. Bernetta. Oh, Lord. All of y'all. We love y'all. Peace. Okay, y'all. I gotta tune into this other meeting.